Hey Internet, it's Archie. Welcome back. Thanks for tuning into the show today. Now today's episode, why send your kids back to school when we have all the answers they need to succeed in life or at least be profitable in August Q&A. So of course, you know the deal, the riddle logo goes up. You riddle me your questions down below. We just hit them in the order they came in on. So we're covering everything today from, is Robinhood a safe place to put your money? How has Bank of America treated me? Should we still consider it? And of course, we'll talk about some government stuff as well, because why not? All that and more. We go long here, so chapters, tools down below. Without further ado, go ahead, press the subscribe button, and let's get to work. And we'll bat lead off. This time he needs a new name because he's not Grab Bag, but he does have one single question for us. And is there any way I can get access to your Q&A video post that you normally post on the Thursday before the end of the month and access the video a day earlier? I'm asking because I work Thursday and Wednesday would be better for me to get the video. So I post the Q&A thing in the community section on Friday mornings, and then I tape these on Saturdays, whether the cutoff to get questions is like Friday night. But really the cutoff is before I start doing, like Saturdays, 10:30. My phone's in front of me, I need to check my watch. But it's 10:32 a.m. on Saturday morning for me. That's like the official cutoff. There's not really a better way for me to post, to make that post, really. If I post it earlier, like on Thursdays, then it ages, but we also get more questions in, then we'll be here for a ton of time, which means you couldn't ask 50 questions. The other thing is we're already a week removed from when people post their questions, because I only like to tape things. I don't like to do lives during the week or anything like that. So the answer to that is probably not. I don't know another way to do it. I mean, technically, I could send you a link to the Q&A when it's done, I suppose. There's a way you can pre-schedule stuff for like members only. If you had members who were paying for stuff, which I do, you're not one of them, weirdly enough. It's okay. It's on the house, bud. But anyhow, you can do members only, can get access to videos early. I've never paywalled content, even put things early. So, I mean, there's not really a good way for me to do that. I don't think I appreciate the effort and the hustle, but it's totally fine with me if you just watch it whenever you can at your convenience. You don't have to be the first person. I appreciate it though. If it's absolutely positively killing you, I guess I could send you the link. But if I say that, then I don't know if anyone actually cares as much as you. I don't want to make this a precedent, I guess, is my thing. So so no is probably the answer. But thank you. And I don't know what I'm going to do with all this free time now that you only asked one question. I feel like we should just sit here and wait 20 minutes in honor of you. Nanoparticle here. Have you stuffed your pockets with food from the airport lounges to feel like you're getting your money's worth? I haven't been to a lounge in many years now, but back in the day, I would absolutely positively take like granola bars. I'm not like, stuffing, bread rolls in my pockets. But yeah, I would take like the granola bars or the packaged stuff. Oh, for sure. I would load up on that, because that saves you money throughout your travels, right? You don't have to, get snacks, or it can get you in between meals. Or I'm notorious for skipping meals during traveling just to save a few bucks and save the calories. So yeah, I would definitely do that. I feel like it's no different than dudes who just go and get just totally lit at the lounge bar. But granola bars, things like that, yeah, definitely, I would do that. It doesn't really make me feel like I get my money's worth. It's more so like what's there, and it's going to save me money down the road. I don't think that's possible to get my money's worth from a lounge. I just don't feel the value is supported in the product. But to your question, yeah, I've definitely grabbed a bunch of granola bars or whatever, whatever they have. Stuff that's easily transportable. I like walking out trying to carry a plate of food, but yeah, why not? Red Sox Nation here. With the national debt hitting 40 trillion recently, I pressed the wrong button. So with the national debt hitting 40 trillion recently, when is the U.S. going to doing something about this rather than passing it to the next guy in the White House? Someone actually did comment. Clayton says, I'm not arguing, but that's the oldest trick in the book. Just keep passing the debt to the new guy. I agree with Clayton's response. I don't, I guess this comes down to, what do you think about jobs in general? So my opinion on the president is that it's just a job. It's a more prestigious job than you or I have, for sure, but it's just a job, and the same rules apply to every job. Don't get fired, and protect your check or protect your bribes or whatever it is in this case. So, once I get the job, there's not really a benefit for me to dealing with that. I also don't even know that it really matters. It's like I don't know that our debt affects me in any way selfishly. And even then, what are you really going to do? Like, if you're someone and like, hey, the United States government owes me money. Okay, come collect. I dare you. I got a whole army. You don't have an army. Wasn't it the whole Chappelle thing when he was going to fight the UN and all that? But seriously, no. I mean, I think any president is doing the right thing for them and their families, which is get in the job, then protect the job, protect their check, and just pass the issue to the next person. Does it make it right for the country? No, but it makes it right for that person, and that's, I understand why people would want to hold the president to a higher standard, but we're all here with the same goal. Do right by yourself, better your family. And that's all the president owes themselves and their family. So it's not a good answer, but I think they're making the right career move by just passing it on to anybody else. And I don't really know why it matters. I mean, sure, someone can educate me on it, but I don't, not that I really care about your answer, but I don't know. I don't worry at all about the national debt. I worry about my own balance sheet. I think zero amount about the national debt. And even if we cut it, like we stop giving money to the poor, it's not like the government's going to come back and be like, oh, you know what? Here's your refund. So I don't care until you can find a way to tell me it's going to impact me and I'm actually going to get more money because of it. So there you go. There's a long answer to one of your famous questions. But it's been a while. We owed you one. Elizabeth here, checking in. These questions are all out of order. This is going to be a pain when I try to sync them up later. Just a fun hypothetical, like national debt. If you could permanently unnerf any one card, so Monster Reborn it or stop an upcoming nerf, which card would you pick? Her strong contenders would be Redstone. See, the Redstone thing, I could have sworn there was something about the Redstone where like it seemed good, but then the redemptions were weird. The values were, but I could be wrong, misremembering it. Preventing Bank of America from being nerfed smartly, even though she never had it, or I still see value in it. And are there any strong contenders? I mean, I don't think you missed any. I think if I could pick one, it'd be Smartly, because Smartly was like a game over retirement card, right? You can make the argument with Smartly, now you only go after intro offers. Is the real difference between 4 and 5%? Probably not, especially if it streamlines your approach to everything so much. Even if Smartly had come out, as we've talked about, with the second round of, hey, it's a $10,000 a month limit, it's hard to spend 10 grand. It's not impossible. If you own a home, you've probably spent 10 grand on, multiple occasions, I'm sure, but it's not an everyday, every month thing. So even then, that was somewhat reasonable. Even if you want to exclude taxes and insurance from it, there are other cards we can get to cover that. So I would say Smartly won, without a doubt. Bank of America, I would redo. I have no problem with them changing it because it's been so long. I simply think there's the gulf between 100,000 and 1 million. There needs to be something in the middle of that. Like if you're gonna make 100,000 now 2.25, then make 500,000 be the 2.6, and then I still think 1 million needs to be 3%. It's easy for me to say when it's not my money, but I would adjust that one. I just think that the delta is too high. The best cards of all time, weirdly enough, probably come from City. Like the original Prestige card, it didn't necessarily help me out, but that unlimited fourth night free perk, and I've heard like their travel protections were legendary, the original one. So if you brought that one back, that would be good. It's also amazing that, if you think about all the cards that City's had, like again, I've said this for years, like they could easily be the best issuer. I know some other folks who would probably pick the Altitude Reserve. I think that card's a little bit overrated in what people are having to do to get the credits back and stuff. So the City Prestige would probably be it for travel. I say Smartly 1, Bank of America 2, but those are just me being selfish. And then give the travel folks the Prestige back. And I think we're there. I mean, is there anything else? No, I don't think so. I think those would be it. So not necessarily a revolutionary answer, but I think I would include the City Prestige in that. Next up here, Reynosa. So however I say that. How safe is, I think RH is Robinhood for a Roth. And funny, the guy below you is kind of like, it's not CNBC. I think he means Robinhood and not like RH like a stock. That's my guess. I think. Well, either way, that's the answer you're about to get. So it's funny that you bring this up. So the next video that you see will be about, not the Q&A, but the one after that will be about Robinhood inviting me to the gold card twice. Which is funny because I haven't used their app or platform in years. So I won't spoil that. But when I go through the thought process, I think about, to the last question, Elizabeth's question, there's no longer a benefit for me adding any more money to my Merrill account. Because again, the gulf between 100 and a million is so far. I'm sitting at like 300 right now. So 700 now is in the way. So even if I want, sure, brokerage account, whatever, but still, there would be more benefit to put it in Robinhood Gold. If I start to look at the benefits that matter of Robinhood, the 3% card, the IRA match, and then the $1,000 of free margin you can use to kind of help offset the gold fee a little bit by putting it into something super safe like treasuries or something like that. I don't love banking with fintechs, which I'm guessing is why you're asking. I don't love doing serious banking with fintechs. Now, I've never really had a problem with Robinhood. I did use it for a little bit for trading. But just speaking in generalities, I've covered enough fintechs in this game for enough time that I can say we see them just come and go overnight. Now, I don't think Robinhood's at risk of coming and going like that, but they're always just missing things. Like customer service is... A lot of customer service is offshored, but it's offshored and it's like scaled down substantially, right? Where you can't pick up the phone and get someone on there, or they're outsourcing it to their partner bank maybe. Or weird features disappear, like GoToBank that I covered recently on the second channel. You can't transfer money out of that bank. You can pull it out, but you can't ACH it out. Probably because there's a cost for ACHing money for the bank. I think it's tiny, but still, that's a weird thing, right? So for that reason, I simply don't like banking with fintechs. Is it probably fine? Yeah, it's probably fine. Is it a cause for hesitation? Yes. The other part of that is, if you go to Reddit or you go to MyFICO, you can throw a stone and you can hit someone who's at a problem with some bank, right? Many people have had problems with Citi. I luckily haven't really had any issues with Citi. But I have with other banks. I just filed another CFPB complaint about Horizon Bank, right? For just not paying out a promotion. I'm doing an American Express promotion, and that promotion is supposed to pay out instantly from what all the data points are saying. When I've used real direct deposits, and they have yet to pay me. So I'm having an issue, but other people have been getting paid very quickly, right? So, I don't have a good answer for you, but I do share your concerns having going with a fintech type bank over a traditional one. So I guess the answer I would give is try it out slowly and see how it goes. So maybe if you're like, hey, it's going to be January in a few months, maybe you do your $7,500 Roth contribution over there. You sign up for gold, you get your 3.5%, and you leave it and you see what happens. So you only have $7,500 plus the 3.5% at risk. You see how it goes. And then by the time, because it's a Roth, so you're ideally not going to put any more into it anyways. Then when you get to the following year, you're like, okay, well, did this go well? How have I interacted with them? What data points have I seen? And then maybe you decide to roll something over. Because there's no real value in loading it up either, so you've got plenty of time. So I think that's the answer. I'm still leaning towards not getting the Robinhood Gold card, but we'll save that for the actual dedicated video. So I share your concerns. I don't know if that's an answer. I don't think you're crazy. I think that's a way you can sort of test it out and see, and to kind of minimize your risk overall, if that helps. Mr. Ferguson here. What is 3 questions? All right, that's reasonable. What is your favorite perk of a no annual fee card? His is probably the U.S. Bank Altitude Connect Priority Pass visits and TSA pre-check credit for the Altitude Go. Those are pretty good. Go streaming credit. Trying out the Triple Cash software credit. See, that with this Triple Cash software credit, I've always figured out how that's one of the hard ones to figure out what counts and what doesn't. That's a good question. I think out of all the cards I have, I don't know that any of them have all the no annual fee cards, which I have a lot of. I don't think they have any perks. I really don't. I think the easiest one to pick is like the no foreign transaction fees, which I would consider a perk on free credit cards. Like the base autograph card has no foreign transaction fees. I don't often end up in Canada. I haven't been in years, right? But in Michigan, we are very close to the border. When I was at Quicken Loans, we could look out the window and see Windsor Casino, right? So that it's helpful to have a card with no foreign transaction fees, things like that. In case you end up making a run across the bridge, I guess. Doesn't happen often, but I go through my freedoms, don't have anything. The autograph that we named one. Cash Plus doesn't have anything. City does. Yeah, I don't think I have any cards with perks on them, honestly. So I'm going to go no foreign transaction fees because I don't expect that on a free card. I expect that starting on a $95 card. So I guess that's what I'll go with. But I don't have any of the ones that you pick. Other than that, I guess you could probably go. It would almost be so being Bank of America. It's a debit card, but I've always debated using it. Being Platinum Honors, you do get a credit towards like Paramount Plus, but it doesn't make it free. It makes it only like a few dollars plus tax. But I'm being petty and I want it to be free. So that's almost a perk I've considered using, but because I'm petty, I haven't yet. Like I've seen Star Trek enough times, I don't need to pay $2 to see it. That's the only thing I know they have on Paramount, that and like the terrible Halo show. But I guess that would kind of be one, but I'm not really using it, and it is a debit card. Good question. I just don't think I have anything, unless you want to count the Amazon. The Amazon card's a weird one. They count it as perks, but I mean, realistically, it's a perk of Prime, not so much of the card. So I don't know. Why do you cash out your cash back once per year? Is it just easier to track? I'm just bad at math. It's fun. I find it fun. It's like a year-end bonus of sorts, right, to cash it out. You can definitely make the argument of like, hey, you're leaving money on the table because you put it into the high yield account. You can definitely make that argument. I think it would make it like a spectacle. It's also sort of symbolic in my mind of like, okay, it's a reset. Here's all the spoils from the year. Now, good. Come January 1st, you're zeroed out. It's time to get back to work. Nothing you did the last year matters anymore. I do take it that seriously in my head. So it is easier to track. It seems like a bonus. It's fun, and it's symbolic of just resetting to zero. I hear the Yu-Gi-Oh! Life points thing in my head, just resetting, and then it's time to lock in again and start earning from zero. Then it's like an existential crisis of how fast can I get to $10,000 in bank promotions and how fast can I get to $5,000 in credit cards. The difference being if it's like a card that you have to redeem as statement credit, or it's a card like the Journey card that I was doing where you need to have a Wells Fargo checking account or you have to cash out a statement credit, then I would cash that one out early just to take care of it because I know it's going to be a while before I have a checking account again and those points will be landlocked over there. Those are the exceptions. Can you tell us a little bit about your day? The Bruce Wayne side of it. So this side being on TV is the Batman side of it, I think. Man, Batman's really fallen off, huh? Since the Christian Bale days. It's not overly interesting, but I will run you through it. So every day I wake up at 5 because reasons. So Monday through Friday, it's 5 a.m. I'm out the door by like 5:10, at the gym to train by like 5:30. I stay there. I do my thing. I do a lot. I stay there for a long time. I stay on the floor to 7:30. It's not just strength training because I make sure to get all my 10,000 steps in before I get home because after that I don't really move that much. So I'm done at 7:30. Hit the showers there, brush my teeth, shower, shave, come home. Probably 8 o'clock breakfast. Then I work from home, so this computer just switches and it's a different computer, and I'm pretty much here doing that for the day. And then after work, I will sit on the kitchen. I don't have a table, but the kitchen island. Use my MacBook. I'll answer some comments, post some things to the website, things like that. Look around. Is there anything else I missed that came out during the workday? Dinner, of course. I eat the same thing every day for all the meals, so not a big deal there. The difference being the weekend, same thing. I give a standing appointment on Saturday to get my haircut at like 5:45 a.m. That's why I generally have a haircut when we're taping these. Then they'll go train, come home. So everything's like an hour later because the haircut. Tape these videos. It's 10:50 a.m. right now on a Saturday while I'm doing this. So I'll tape them all. I'll start putting them together. I'll go cut the grass and mess around outside in the yard. Come back, do the thumbnails because the videos have to upload if you're going to use the AI thumbnail piece, which you can tell I've been doing. Mess around with thumbnails for a little bit. By then, it'll probably be time to eat dinner, maybe run some errands if I have them. I got to go to Best Buy later. This keyboard is broken. The light keeps coming on and off, and I can't fix it, which is annoying. and that's pretty much the day. And then Sunday I'll do like house chores and like watch YouTube videos and stuff for the rest of the day. But it's pretty much it. It sounds bad, I mean, because it is bad, but like I prefer to be working on something and doing something. If I'm not, then I feel like I'm kind of just like wasting time. I'm generally very much a process, keep doing the same thing over and over again to get results. So, I get the results that I want from that, eating the same things, training, those go hand in hand, making sure you're getting enough rest. So having that rigid schedule works. And then I really don't like taking days off here because it just pushes the work to another time. So I treat this like a job. So, it just helps to have that schedule, and it accomplishes the goals I'm looking to accomplish. I wouldn't say it's fun. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it for people, but accomplishing the things is fun. So it's very much Bruce Wayne. And then sometimes I drive my Lamborghini when the Batmobile is in the shop, I guess. Bonus agent here. Being someone with a decently successful finance-related website, well, thank you, sir. We're going places, folks. We're decently successful. When the growth of vibe coding using tools like Cursor and Claude, have you considered making any changes to profitable content and adding in new features or any ideas to improve your overall user experience? Keep up the great work. I will try to keep clearing the bar of decency. I'm just messing with you. I appreciate it. You were the one who finally got me to cave and look up what vibe coding meant, so that's where I'm at. It's basically just coding, having Claude do it, like coding through telling it what to do, and it writes the code to summarize. So it's funny because I finally revamped the credit card section on the website. I had built out the whole page, and then I lost my affiliate links, as we talked about, because I sucked. It's selling. So I finally revamped it to have like still the banner of cards, but you click into it, now I have just regular credit card posts. And it's been so long since I updated anything. The site uses WordPress. Like, it took me a good while to remember, like, okay, what are we doing here? How did I do this last time? What links to what? And I do believe WordPress has its own, you can put code in there, and then I believe they also have their own little AI agent, which I haven't tried. So to answer your question, no, but that's a good idea because I do look at the website. There's probably some cooler things we could do. I've also been doing stuff with WordPress plugins. Like, I had a plugin, for example, where I make a post, it'll show up in Discord. I remember I actually met the guys who made that plugin because I got it and it didn't work. I paid for it, it didn't work, and I emailed them, and we actually got on the phone, and they're like, yeah, we don't really do that anymore, but we can build it for you since you already paid, and they just did, which is very nice of them to do. But I could probably figure out a way to just do that myself now. So it's definitely something I should put on my list of things to expand my horizons. I have gotten more into the AI stuff, as you can tell from the thumbnails. They're somewhat controversial. My mother doesn't like them. Some people like them, some people don't. Most people don't really say anything. But to expand on your question, I've always been seriously embarrassed of my thumbnails. Like, not enough clearly to stop me from publishing, but I know they're awful, and I know they're not for YouTube, and they're not very good, right? And but I didn't want to pay for them. I don't value that service. I don't make enough here. I mean, I'm between $700 and $1,000 between both channels, basically. So, a month. So I don't think paying someone to make thumbnails is gonna make me make that much more money, right? So I'm not gonna pay somebody. But now you can upload your video, and YouTube has Gemini in it. It will take a stab at the thumbnail, but it's very bad at prompts. Like, it can get one or two things, but sometimes you change this, and then it just screws it up entirely. So what I do is I'm starting, this is more recent, I start to run it through Gemini, and then I export that, and I put it in the free version of ChatGPT. And that one's better because you can actually upload assets to it. So it's where sometimes Gemini can get the credit card right, but most of the time it doesn't. You can actually upload the thumbnail and say, okay, now put this credit card in my hand, or swap these cards out here. And it does much, much better at handling prompts to kind of dial in the context of the thumbnail better. So that's kind of what I'm working on now. I hated my thumbnail so much. Once I figured this out, I went back and changed them all. I privated a lot of old videos. There was no point in spending time updating a thumbnail from the news from 2022, right? So yes, I'm getting more into the AI stuff, and I do think AI has a ton of value in the enterprise space, and this is enterprise work, if you will. Consumer space, I don't see a ton of use for it really, but I think they're more so just trying to sell us things and paywall features that would have once been included. But so yes, to answer your question, that's what I'm doing. So I could definitely look to expand that to the website. I'll take ideas. I know your website, he does have a website. If you bonus agent is a .io, I want to say. We met through email, and what he's working on is pretty good, using AI to read through terms and conditions and things like that. He's trying to put me out of a job, basically, but what he's doing is pretty good. I do like to see anyone trying to push this space forward. You can see his question. He didn't ask me to say that. So check out Bonus Agent if you want. It's just a guy trying to make a good platform overall, and he's got some good stuff. You can upload like use your spreadsheet and manage it digitally there, and have a profile and things like that. So definitely worth checking out. Be more like him if you're going to build a website, and be less like me. Coder Carell here next up with that beautiful channel members logo. We thank you for it, sir. With all the nerfs, removal of high-earning cashback cards, what do you think the best strategy is for someone getting into cashback now? Is it worth grabbing the 5% cards now they're vanishing, breed as fast as you can, or should you just grab 3% catch-all like Robinhood Gold or Galaxy card and then just go sub-hunting? If you magically had $1 million, would you invest it in BOA for their top-tier rewards? Spread it around. So just getting started. So you're just getting started. Let's assume you're like 1 year in, so you like credit profile and all that isn't really a problem. I think you definitely start with your catch-all cards. If you've got an Android phone and you needed a catch-all, I would say, yeah, check out the Samsung card. I like that card a lot. I seem to be in the minority. Some of you did like it, but the cool thing about when you don't get paid to talk about cards is at least when I tell you I like something, it means I really like it. I'm not getting paid. I just happen to have an Apple phone, so I'm not going to switch phones for that. But I did like that card a lot. I think they did very good. As far as 5% cards, I would still do it. What I would do is I would build out your roadmap of sorts. I would look at your categories, your spend by category, right? So if you've got a budget or something, you could filter on that. You say, hey, look, it's probably groceries, right? If you're a younger man, it might be dining and going out. There's nothing wrong with that. Be fun. Don't be like me and just do the same thing all the time. And I would go after those cards. So I would still put, some folks have said, hey, I don't know if I want to go after the AAA card now because of the survey. The simple answer is we simply don't know. We don't know what they're going to do. I actually was sent the survey after that video by a friend, and some of the options, I clicked through and some of the options were pretty good. Some of them were really bad. So I don't know if I would let that deter me. I think I might go slower, and like what I'm doing is I'm at like 324 right now, and I'm just leaving those two spots open. I might get one more thing once I'm done with the Sapphire Reserve business, but I'm leaving those spots open so I have some flexibility if something comes up or if we see some more changes in the mix. So I would still I think your catch-all is fine. If you want the Robinhood Gold card, you can get it, or you want the Samsung card, I think those will be fine and they still fit your cashback roadmap, but I wouldn't really shy away. Or you could pick tried and true cards, like if you're a big Amazon person, you're already paying for Prime. Well, Chase and Amazon have already gotten in a fight and decided to renew the partnership, so I think that would be a safe card to get. I think the Cash Plus is probably a safe card to get. You're going to bring this up 2 years from now. I'm like, dude, all these cards got canceled. You suck. I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry, man. But yeah, to answer your question, yeah, I see your point. I see your concern. So I think maybe go a little bit slower, or get the ones you definitely need and spend some time in business land picking up intro offers before you come back and finish out your personal card setup. But the 5% cards, I would still recommend them. Yeah, I know, I would, because I can understand your concern, because like generally those cards don't have high intro offers, so you can go one or the other. I feel like we talked about this in a past video, and I landed on, personally, for me, building out a strong setup, get that done, and then go intro offer hunting. So the other thing is, if you're newer to this game, it's going to take a while. Many of us have been playing for years. My first Freedom card is dated 2013, right? It's over 10 years ago. Gosh, getting so old, man. But, so I think I would still recommend going through solidifying your setup and then tweak. You're always going to be tweaking as you go, but eventually once you have your core cards, those generally don't change unless the card issuer changes something, or something, your spend habits change, and then go for intro offers. I could definitely go for intro offers exclusively now, but like you, I'm still looking at the the landscape. Like, you guys might change something. This custom cash might fall. This AAA card might go away. What have you. I need to stay a little bit flexible. So I think I'm somewhere in the middle of that. But yes, I still personally value a fully vetted out 5% or very high earning setup for free than just hit it, quit it cards. Because what are you going to do for like the next 2 years while you garden was kind of my counterpoint. You know, if you're slow and controlled and you're getting a new card every 3 months or 4 months and it's taking you the full 3 months to hit the spend, then maybe you can pace it out. I'm not that disciplined. So those are my 2 cents on that. If I had $1 million, another good question. We've talked about it before. But yeah, I would, well, at that point, PNC is back on the table, isn't it? Well, no, because PNC is 2.7, which is not that much higher than Bank of America. So I would, yeah, if I had $1 million, I would, it's the only place you go where you get something. People have countered to me that, yeah, you get something for City Gold, but City Gold just discounts the annual fee of the terrible Shroud Elite. Sorry, Johnny. It's just, I don't care for it. But I like the card design, just don't care for it. So I think Bank of America, and that's why the Nerf, it sucks, but it's still like, I mean, where else are you going to go? Like, they're still the only person who gives you money. You don't get more because you put $1 million in Robinhood. The other argument, I guess you could say, is you get it, and maybe you look for, sometimes Robinhood or those guys have transfer matches. I think SoFi is running one right now where you transfer in money and they have a 2% match or something. That could be an option. I don't know what the cap is, but from everything I have, I would still go with Bank of America. I'm a index fund person, so even though their interface isn't great, I'm not doing a bunch of Bobby Axelrodding in there. So for me, it still works. So I would do that, get my platinum honors or whatever the diamond thing is now. I guess it'd be like diamond, but I would. And the only real other advantage would be to trade around into intro offers. But no one else is giving you really anything to that level for your money. So I would still do it. 2 more here. Polygraph Zone. Oh, another Bank of America. This is quickly becoming the home of Bank of America, and I love it. Qualifies Bank of America preferred honors with my Merrill account. As B of A credit card customer, they treat me great, both in branch and on the phone. I was wondering what your experience has been with them. Here's so many negative about their customer service, but I just don't see it. Also, I know you're a cash back guy, but do you have any airline or hotel co-branded cards? Well, thank you for writing in, sir. I have not had a bad experience with Bank of America that would have been different anywhere else. And by that, I mean, there's some annoying things in contacting them, right? Like, they don't really have chat. And so like when I was trying to do a rollover years ago to Merrill, you had to find a form, but I didn't know that because it's set up where like it says like, hey, we'll fill this thing out online, but I couldn't figure it out. So I had to phone them up and they told me where the form was, and you have to submit the form, but you don't know that they have it or not. And that stuff was bad. But it's not excusing it, but it's also, most banks aren't really good at communication by design, right? So I'm not giving them a pass, but again, just find me the place that you don't have to deal with that to that level, right? There's another time where I applied for a card and got the denial message, but then later, 7 days later, or 14 days later, they sent me a letter that says, hey, call the fraud department. So I wasn't really denied. You just needed me to call the fraud department. The problem with that is why I had already phoned in to make a product change with Bank of America. And if you would have just told me call in from the start, we could have avoided this. But again, you're going to run into that in a lot of places, right? Chase sends you denial letters. They don't really say anything, right? Helpful. So again, it's not a pass, but I'm not going to knock them for what, unfortunately, is industry standard of treating customers a certain way. Now, to your point, when I phoned into Merrill, sometimes you wait on hold a little bit longer than you'd like, but everyone's been very helpful. When I was trying to move my money back to U.S. Bank, do an ACATS transfer, they were very helpful. I think I talked to a junior banker who got me to a regular banker who could make the move. We did it all online, and then they even called back to say, hey, we did 2 sweeps to make sure we got some of your dividends that paid out. That was nice of them. The people who, when I got to someone with the forms, that was nice of them too. I called in to do a rollover. It was a backdoor Roth, and it was somewhat confusing because it seemed like you needed to fill out a form. Like, oh no, I can just do it for you. So great. So I guess I'm trying to separate their user interface experience from their customer service experience. Their customer service experience, I have not had an issue with either. Their user interface experience is god awful, but outside of Chase, City, and American Express, most of them aren't great. There's some mid-tier ones, like Wells Fargo's mid-tier to me. Never had a problem, but it's not amazing. But Chase, City, American Express are my favorite banking apps. And I don't love American Express, so to say that really means something, I would think. Credit card wise, I'd also heard horror stories, but I was able to phone in, product change a few cards, then a week later, phone back in and product change again because I ended up getting approved for that other card, for that other unlimited cash card. I was able to call in and move multiple credit limits around, no problem. All things that I had read were issues in the past they must have corrected. I was expecting a headache, but it went very well. So I've had no issues, and I'll say I've actually had no issues with using their cards. Like some cards get tripped up, some of it's my fault. When you're trying to swipe a Chase Freedom card 12 times in a grocery store to buy gift cards, and I call Chase, I'm like, hey, look, and they say approve, and then I swipe it again and it declines, right? That's more on me than it is on them, but still, US Bank smartly would deny me in store, like I'm trying to buy something, it would decline, but they would never send you a notice to saying it was declined. And you phone them up, answer 28 security questions like, how can I help? How do you think you can help? You don't see that the account is locked, but by then I'm annoyed. Bank of America cards just tank everything, for me at least. So I recommend them a lot. It's just really, can their customer service catch up? Can their user interface catch up to customer service? And I don't think it ever will, because there's just not a need to, because they're still the second largest bank. So we can complain all day long, but like if I'm them, like I'm pretty successful, so deal with it. So all that to say, my experience has mirrored yours. I've expected a fight, and it has not been a fight. I have 4 cards. I may try to get more customized cash cards in the future. So I'm a fan of Bank of America, using them as meh, but again, how often do you really need to use Merrill and things like that? So, I have had no problems outside of normal problems. Airline or hotel co-brand. I don't have any co-branded cards. I'm in possession of 2 travel cards right now, which would be the Journey card, 3, I guess. The Journey card, which because it's my love affair with Wells Fargo. I will keep that card. The base autograph. Those are, in my mind, they're cashback cards made for travel. And then right now I have the Sapphire Reserve Business, which won't last, beyond the first year. I have no co-branded cards other than the Amazon Prime card, period. I don't have any travel cards. I don't hate the $95 annual fee ones. I think they're designed, if you're going to check in. I think the airline ones make sense by design, it gets you a free check bag. So if you're going to check a bag, it's fine. I don't check bags. I won't do it. So I don't have any. I don't have a need for them. Plus, you really got to spend. They're beneficial, again, if you want to avoid fees and things like that. But to get a lot of points for airlines and hotels, you've really got to get the intro offer. So me, just no travel cards like that. Last one, certainly not least, Clayton here. Do you feel like bank bonuses have been drying up in 26? It seems like this summer, especially, there haven't been many strong new bonuses that aren't check system sensitive. Has this year actually been worse? I think it's been on par for last year. I'm looking at my tracker. I'm like, man, I don't know if I'm going to get to 10 grand this year. And as someone who I just spent yesterday, Friday evening, sitting at the kitchen island, I'm like, what am I going to talk about on the show? What am I going to take for the coming week's videos? And it's getting harder to find things to talk about. That is for sure. There's not a lot of offers. It has been the summer. The back half of the summer has definitely slowed down. You're not alone. But we've been on a decline ever since probably 23 or 24. And for me, the thing that I've noticed the most is we've simply lost a lot of the fintech neobank guys. We used to see offers from some random pop-ups all the time that had $50 or $100, and they didn't care about checks or things like that. And ever since that money's dried up, I think that's what we're missing. And it was also that brief time in 21 or 22 where a lot of folks had the high savings offers. It was like, yeah, we'll deposit, give us, I don't know, I'll make like $50,000, $100,000, but we'll give you like 3% APY plus $1,000 bonus or something like that. So even if we didn't have a lot of offers, it didn't matter because you were still making some high dollar offers back, more or less. So yeah, it's been very slow. I do have concerns about making it to $10,000 this year. Like we're getting close to the end of the year. We're a month away from the last quarter. I'm about it in the mid sevens right now, I want to say, from payouts, and I've had to file a CFPB complaint. The Amex one isn't working right. For me at least, we talked about earlier. So I mean, look, the good news is even if you lose, you win. The $10,000 number was made up to keep me engaged and make it challenging, and it is a challenging number. But again, even if you don't hit it, the good part is you still made quite a bit of money. So you're not alone. I mean, it's just getting slow. I don't know what we're gonna do, but I think this game is just gonna reduce down to maybe churning a lot of the blue chips when you can, and then maybe some credit unions we can sneak into and a fintech or two here and there. But we might just have to look at it more of like, hey, you can just get what you can, as opposed to like a guaranteed like 10 grand a year. Because like I'm trying, my velocity is pretty high. I refresh the Doctor of Credit multiple times a day, and a few other sites as well, and there's just not a ton of offers. I mean, like I say, I'll close it here. Sales goals change, leadership changes, management changes, that whole thing, right? And so, I think for right now, for whatever reason's going on, we don't see a ton. But again, you get a new manager in there, a new sales manager, and they want to pump up numbers. We did just see Wells Fargo jump their offer up from $400 to $500. So all is not lost. Just for whatever reason, for right now, we are in a slow time, just like the credit cards, right? Remember, as I like to use this example of Chase. The Chase Ink cards used to have rules where you could only you can't have the unlimited card, for example, then apply for another unlimited. Then they took that rule away for a good while, and then they put the rule back. So they are very aware of what they're doing, what levers they're pulling to match their own sales goals. And so for whatever reason right now, these guys have, many of them don't have aggressive sales goals, maybe. But I do think that will change. We've seen it change up and down multiple times. So I would say just hang in there, keep hitting what you can, and, either way, you'll still be profitable. So that's what I'm trying to do. But yeah, finding stuff to talk about is a pain. You're like, Matt, it's a pain. I could also just take a day off and just only talk about something when I had it, but where would be the fun in that if I didn't bother everybody, right? So that is everyone's questions asked and answered. I do appreciate those who took the time to write in, or if you watched, thank you very much. If you have anything else you want to debate me about or to ask about, let me know down below. Of course, if you like this one, drop me a thumbs up down below. If you found it particularly interesting, consider subscribing to the channel. So we're posting content just like this every single week. And of course, we're right back every Sunday with all the news you can use in the week that was in credit and finance. And of course, every single day over on profitablecontent.com, which is of course the channel's blog, always linked down below for you, as well as on the channel homepage, where we have these latest news stories, plenty of bank promotions, not a lot of new ones, but when we get new ones, we put them over there, and credit card offers as well. Anyways, guys, that'll do for this one. As always, thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you very soon in the next one.